Hi, welcome to Be Wise with Strata. My name's Scott Bellaby. I'm the Managing Director for Strata, and welcome to our first info session, which will cover the role of the Council of Owners. The Council of Owners play a critical role in the management of a strata scheme. Unfortunately, it's often a thankless task that comes with a lot of work, but where we have a proactive Council of Owners, we certainly see that schemes are better managed, operate better, and there's a lot stronger relationship with the strata manager and all the residents and owners living and working in a scheme. So they are effectively the catalyst to whether it will be successful or not. With the new reforms, there is certainly a lot more expectation placed on the council owners, and there's a lot more that they now need to comply with within the legislation. There is a whole section now on the Council of Owners, and whether you comply or not will largely come down to the knowledge and experience of your strata manager. Certainly the strata managers at Strata are the most knowledgeable in the industry, and we're there to support the Council of Owners to the best of our ability. Where to start with regards to what you need to deliver on? Well, I guess it will now start with having your first general meeting and looking to pass a resolution under section 118 to ensure that you actually have the authority to execute documents on behalf of the strata company and also to affix the seal. That would be the starting block for most strata companies going forward with the new reforms. And then from there, it's a range of other expectations now that you're going to have to be able to deliver on. One of the things that you really need to be aware of is section 119, which talks about the objectives of the strata company. There is now a section in the Act and it puts a onus on the strata company to have a clear plan going forward. That plan can't be overly onerous or oppressive to any of the owners. It can't be discriminatory against any one lot. And new owners and residents living in a scheme can also test the strata company on the performance of what the strata company is trying to deliver on. One of the new requirements with the legislation is also the 10-year maintenance plan, which is great. It now means that strata companies need to be proactive rather than reactive, and it really can lay out the plan for the strata company over the coming years, and it helps you prepare for building works and also ensures that you're adequately budgeting to meet those maintenance requirements. The 10-year maintenance plan will actually be a detailed session in itself, which we will go into later on. But just be aware that this year there will be a requirement that all strata companies engage an appropriately qualified contractor to prepare that 10-year maintenance plan, and next year you're then going to have to adopt that 10-year plan. So start thinking about where your reserve needs to be. What do you have in your reserve? What are maybe some of the works around your complex that need to be undertaken? And this is the year to really start putting processes in place to make sure that you're in the box seat to then be able to adopt the 10-year maintenance plan at your AGM next year. Another big requirement within the legislation is understanding the functions and the constitution of the council under section 135. The functions of the strata company, subject to the Act and to any restrictions imposed at a general meeting by the strata company, are to be undertaken by the Council of Owners. So there is a lot of responsibility and authority given to the Council of Owners, and you need to be mindful that in performing your duties, you take the appropriate steps and provide due care and diligence in all the functions that you do perform. It's certainly very important to make sure now that Council of Owners properly convene and minute their meetings. It is a requirement that all of your meetings are minuted. It's probably also worthwhile noting that all of your email communication actually now forms part of the records of the strata company and must be maintained. So just be mindful of what you are emailing out there and thinking about what that content may be. It's going to be challenging, but that's where the team at B Strata and the Strata managers are there to help you and guide you. So just we're here to support you at all steps. With the increased obligations imposed on the council, it's also important that you better understand your council duties and also appropriately disclose any conflicts that you may have. And I'd refer you there to section 137. Certainly we're not looking to frighten anyone from being a member of the Council of Owners. And as long as a member of the Strata company has acted in good faith, then they are protected under section 141, where there will be no civil liability against a member of the council, the Strata company. In fact, the liability is extended to the Strata company. So as long as you're performing your duties to the best of your ability and acting in the best interests of the Strata company, then there is nothing to be concerned about. And this is where certainly we will make sure that you are complying and supporting you through your role. Another important fact to point out with regards to legislation is that the Strata Managers Management Agreement will also cease to take effect 6 months from 1 May. So over the next 6 months, most of your Strata managers will be out there looking to engage with you and looking to review where the management contract sits. There's a lot of expectations now around what the management agreement needs to contain. There's increased responsibilities on both the Strata manager and the council owners, as well as the Strata company, to comply with the Act. And certainly at B Strata, we are adopting the Strata Community Association Management Agreement. We haven't looked to go and produce our own contract, which I understand a number of Strata managers might be doing. But just beware, certainly with the SCA Management Agreement, you are protected. It's had a number of lawyers review the document and it will meet all the requirements of the Act. So I'd be starting off with insisting that you see first a copy of the SCA Management Agreement before you look to go anywhere else. While we've touched on a couple of the critical areas which the council owners need to be aware of, the legislation is pretty extensive and there are a number of other areas that you need to make sure you're complying with. Namely, expenditure on common property is a good one to be aware of now. You can now look to improve common property, not just maintain it. You're also required to ensure that you've got a delivery address and a mailbox within the Strata company. As the scheme, as a building, you have to have a mailbox now going forward. And there also needs to be a means of electronic service, which can either be the Strata company having an email or using the Strata manager's email. There's another really great change is the ability to hold Strata meetings remotely. And with that comes a few hurdles that you will have to jump through. You have to be quite specific around when voting opens and when voting closes, how the agenda is actually sent out. And this is a big one to note. While we have the ability now to email agendas, we actually require the owners to make sure that they update their preferred method of receiving the agendas. A lot of owners in the past have indicated post is their preferred method of delivery, saying that was their only method of delivery they could have for the agenda. But with the new legislation, you can now opt for email. And we are certainly wanting to work with our owners and reduce the number of paper output from our office. Therefore, we do encourage you to get in contact and change your preferred method of post to email. So in wrap up, there'll be a number of BY's info sessions coming up. The next section will be on the management contract. Given we have such a narrow timeline remaining, they all have to be signed and executed by the 31st of October. So it's important that you begin to understand the content of those new management agreements. It has changed somewhat. So yes, that will be the next session. And saying that, we're also very interested in hearing from you about what you would like us to cover and what other topics within the legislation or what other topics with regards to living in your scheme that you may want us to talk about. So please don't be afraid of getting in touch with us. Feel free to email any of your questions or concerns to bwise@bstratawa.com.au, and we do look forward to hearing from you. Stay safe and look forward to seeing you at the next Be Wise with B Strata info session. Thank you.